When Fight Night Champion launched in 2011, many observers and casual fans assumed its underwhelming sales were the inevitable result of a shifting combat sports landscape. UFC and MMA were skyrocketing in popularity, and the perception was that boxing had been relegated to a niche corner of the sport world, with stars like Ronda Rousey, Anderson Silver, and John Jones capturing mainstream headlines. It seemed obvious the era of boxing video games was over. Yet a closer examination reveals a far more nuanced truth. While MMA certainly attracts attention, the decline of EA's Fight Night series was less about market trends and more about a fundamental misalignment between what boxing fans wanted and what EA delivered. The story of the series struggles and ultimately one of missed opportunities, unfulfilled promises, and a failure to innovate where it matters most. The fan wish list, a blueprint for authenticity. Long before Fight Night Champion arrived on consoles, boxing enthusiasts had been articulating a vision for truly what a truly realistic boxing video game looks like. This vision, often referred to as the original boxing video game wish list. Yeah, that's my wish list. Well, it's my wish list that I say that because I sent it, but it was the community wish list, and the majority of the ideas on there, they were mine. But then you got big ideas by Papanosis, Black. It was a couple of us that put
Okay,
that wish list
focus,
together.
focus. Big
You
deep
know, we
breaths.
all
Big
had
deep
like
breaths.
a
Allow yourself
strong
to
part in the
and
wish
go.
list. I had my tendencies and stuff like that. Papanosis added on to them, different things. We all came together. I picked all the different people. It was like Voltron. I picked everybody with different scripts. All right, let me finish reading it. The original boxing video game wish list emphasized strategic depth and simulating realism. Fans wanted a system that rewarded precise timing, thoughtful footwork, and the master of defensive techniques. They envisioned stamina management that genuinely affected a fighter's performance. AI opponents who adapt intelligently in a game engine capable of simulating the unpredictable rhythm of an actual fighter. The wish list wasn't just about adding features, it was about creating an experience where the subtleties and mentality calculations of real boxing were faithfully represented. This was a tall order, but achievable. In other sports genres, developers were already demonstrating how simulations could coexist with accessibility. NBA 2K offered players granular control over dribbling, shot selection, and defensive rotations. Madden NFL integrated playbooks, advanced AI, decision making, and players' progression that felt tied to real world statistics and tendencies.
It's what
FIFA
you're doing. Come on.
similarly
Switch on, switch
provided
on. You've been coached
nuance
in this fight.
control,
Now you're back into it.
tactical
Now's a tougher
variations,
fight, and he's
and
going to need
online
confidence. Just
competition
take that.
that created a sense of
Let's do it.
living a evolved sport. Fans of boxing expected EA to follow a similar trajectory. Iterative innovation that respected the sport's complexity while still providing the cinematic excitement fans have come to love. Arcade hybrid, where EA missed the mark. Instead of a faithful simulation, EA delivered a hybrid product that leaned too heavily into arcade style mechanics, while the Fight Night series had experiment with realism in earlier iterations, introducing the total punch control system and physics-based punch reactions. It never fully committed to the deaf fans' crave. Fight Night Champion amplified cinematic flair with the story-driven campaign of Andre Bishop, a character narrative, a character navigating a gritty narrative of personal struggle and redemption. Critics and casual player praised the story mode for its emotional resonance and production quality. It was at the time one of the most cinematic sports narratives ever attempted in video games. Yet the story mode masked deep problems. Core gameplay mechanics remain simplified in ways that frustrated serious boxing enthusiasts. Defensive maneuvers were easy to execute and lacked the strategic weight of real boxing.
That's it. Now breathe. Breathe.
Stamina systems allowed fighters to maintain
free shots.
peak performance far longer than reality would allow. And AI, while occasionally challenging, often relied on a repetitive pattern rather than simulating the strategic unpredictability of a true opponent. For fans who had followed the wish list for years, the game felt like a promise unfulfilled, a polished package of narratives and speculative that ignored the foundation system of the sport itself.
Good work. Just the same.
The competitive landscape, sports games raised the bar. The complexity of early 2010s sports video games cannot be ignored. Franchises like NBA 2K, Madden NFL, and FIFA has set new standards for players' expectations, emphasizing depth, realism, and the subtleties of sport. These games didn't rely solely on cinematic sequences or flashy animations. They demand player engagement on multiple levels. They offer online and offline modes that provided the longevity, strategic variety, and authenticity. They treated athletes they treated athletes not as avatars in a video game, but as real world players with tendencies, strengths, and weaknesses that influence every decision in game. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see if y'all in the live stream. All right, who popped in? Mike Adams. Salute. Glad you came in. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. Against this backdrop, EA arcade-heavy approach felt increasingly out of step. While casual players may have appreciated the accessibility, control, and cinematic story, hardcore boxing fans, the very audience that had sustained the series for years, felt alienated. The contrast became more stark as UFC video games and MMA titles began to integrate more realistic grapple, striking, and fighter AI mechanics. These titles, although not perfect, simulated simulates demonstrates a committed evolving the gameplay in a way that Fight Night had failed to match. Story mode as a band aid. One of the most revealing aspects of Fight Night Champion development was the emphasis on the story mode. Andre Bishop's narrative was compelling, cinematic, and for many casual gamers, a well innovative innovation in sports gaming. But the
Okay,
story
are you all
mode
right?
could
Are you
not
okay?
replace the demand for an engaging, realistic core gameplay loop. Fans didn't buy a boxing game to watch a scripted narrative. They want to feel the tension, the strategy, and unpredictability of the ring in their hands. The mismatch between story mode emphasizes and gameplay depth created a dissonance that critics and fans alike noted. The game looked like a step forward in presentation, but it played like increments, e- evolution at best. Increments, little bits of pieces. All right. This divergence also reflects a
We want to win this
misunderstanding
fight.
of
Get your
fan
mind back on the job.
psychology.
That's a terrible.
Hardcore
Let's
boxing
do it.
fans wanted mastery, skill, and strategy to be rewarded. They wanted games where planning an approach to a fight, analyzing an opponent's tendencies, and executing precise combination mattered. EA treated narrative as the selling point rather than the foundation, signaling to fans that their feedback rooted in core mechanics was a secondary spectacle. Misreading the market. MMA as a convenient scapegoat. It is a it is tempting to blame UFC and MMA rise for Fight Night Champion commercial struggles, but doing so oversimplifies the problem. Sell, Sales data show that boxing remains culturally and commercially relevant in many global markets. Europe, Latin America, and parts of Asia continue to support boxing both in
You're
arenas
taking
and
too
through
much. The
media
fight is over.
consumption. The perception that the MMA kill boxing games ignores the deeper issue. EA repeatedly failed to meet the expectations of its core audience. Its core audience. In other words, the decline of the Fight Night series is a story of developer misalignment rather than the culture's irrelevance. Casual gamers may have gravitated towards the UFC octagon, but hardcore boxing fans, the audience that truly drives engagement and long-term brand loyalty, left left because the games weren't delivering what they wanted: realistic, nuance, and challenge boxing simulations. People keep saying that the casual fans push the gaming market, not the whole market. What games are we talking about? Sports games is a hardcore fan base,
Let's fight.
no matter how you push it. Because if the hardcore fans didn't push this game, I mean, push sports games, we would still have those arcade knockoffs. We would still have Mike Tyson Punch Out. We should be still would have the NBA Street. we still have games like that. So that shows that the casual fans is not pushing the market. They just attach themselves to the games that the hardcore fans like, and companies are making it so it's easy for them to come on board. But they should have came on board and they learned the game just like other people learn their games. Let me see who's in here. Boxing Lounge, salute. Appreciate you being here. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Whatever you celebrate. Not being disrespectful to anybody. Some people take it disrespectful because that's not what you celebrate. You don't know what somebody's religious background. Let me see. In other words, the decline of Fight Night series is a story of developer misalignment rather than cultural relevance. Casual gamers may that I'm reading over and over again. Let me go back. Lesson for the future. This is a lesson for the future. The failure of Fight Night Champion offered a cautionary tale for developers. Storytelling, cinematic polish, and accessibility cannot substitute for depth, realism, and fidelity to the sport. Players, especially boxing enthusiasts, expect sports games to evolve alongside the franchise they emulate. In the case of boxing, fans want footwork that matters, stamina that constrains strategy, defense that reward timing, and AI that behaves like a real opponent rather than a predictable script. To succeed, future boxing games must take the wish list serious. I got a new wish list now. Translate fans' desires into mechanical depth rather than cinematic window dressing. The lesson is clear. The popularity of MMA was a convenient scapegoat, but the real reason Fight Night Champion faltered lies in EA repeated failure to deliver a core gameplay experience that honored the sport. Story modes and flashy presentation may grab attention temporarily, but only authenticity and mechanical sophistication can sustain a franchise and satisfy the most passionate audience. And that's a fact. A lot of people keep saying that Fight Night Champion was a great game. No, it had a great story. And people play Fight Night Champion. They basically doing the same thing with Fight Night Champion that they're doing with Undisputed. They plan the game to make it seem more realistic. Like with these leagues, they plan the games to make it seem more realistic. So, stop with that. It's because of the MMA. The MMA games, they weren't selling as good as the Fight Night and the Knockout King series. I think they start selling well, like Fight Night. I mean the Undisputed 4 or something like that. But they weren't selling. They weren't doing big numbers like the Knockout Kings and the Fight Night games. So stop with that nonsense. Y'all keep giving excuses. Stop giving excuses to these game companies. Hold them accountable. People trying to give Steel City excuses. It's no excuses. It's no excuses at all. They try to reverse engineer this game for a casual fan base, and then they hope that the hardcore fans accept it. They left. The hardcore fans, they start leaving. Then the numbers start dropping. So it shows who really is the people that's buying this game. It showed. So y'all can come up with all these different scenarios. People start leaving. They literally stop playing the game. Or they're complaining the most. I had somebody that came in my from my last video. He said, "Why is it that you complain about the game?"
Starting to make mistakes and you're switching off.
He said it makes no sense. You know why I'm complaining about the game? And it does make sense. I'm passionate about boxing. You're not. You're not. So I'm complaining about the game because I want them to make a better game. If we be silent and depend on Steel City to make the game, we're going to get the same game over and over again. If we depend on Steel City or a game company to make the game we want or hope for, we're never going to get it. That's why we have to say something. Idiot. Idiots. Yo, y'all crazy, man. Real crazy talking about, let me see. Brasco Jones wave setting. Salute. Happy holidays. You know, hope you're enjoying your holiday with your family and friends as you celebrate. That's a fact though. I love boxing. Exactly. To the people that love boxing, you should be making this game to attract them. They think even with Undisputed, they did the switch intake on us. They did that big ESBC. The game sold all them million copies because of what it looked like in the ESBC days. That's what sold the game, and you knew that's what sold the game. Salute. Yeah, that's what sold the game. The ESBC version. The boxers look more realistic. They were throwing realistic looking punches. The footwork was better. People keep saying, "Oh, they got the best footwork." It's not the same. It's not the same with what we had.
Let's do it.
We didn't have every boxer with loose foot movement. They attach to every boxer loose foot movement. That should be a red flag right there. That should be a problem. That should be a problem. That's like EA making it so
Okay, are you
the
all right?
centers
Are you okay?
can shoot three-pointers effectively. That's like NBA 2K letting the centers shoot three-pointers. I know European centers can shoot three-pointers, and but I'm talking about in general. Stop trying to correct. Let me see. Brasco said, right. I was on it day one. Esports had me at my brother's waiting like kids. Exactly. I was there before day one. Cause I talked to the owner. I used to talk to the owner all the time. And when we were sitting together, when we was talking on the phone, we were. I hate to. Oh, I hate doing stuff like this because people always nitpick everything. We were like little kids on, comparing notes, and he was telling me stuff, and every week he made it his duty to talk to me once or twice a week and let me know what was going on with the development. And sometimes I used to tell him, hey, you can't be telling me
Do you want
everything
to win this
because
fight?
I
Right,
don't
let's
have
get
an
out there.
NDA.
Get your boxing back together.
Do your business.
You know, let me have an NDA. You know, I was putting an NDA on myself because I didn't want him to put himself in a spot. And by him telling me certain things, even though I wouldn't have went back and told our conversation if it was something he didn't want put out. Yeah, so I was like, I said, Ash, man, he used to tell me a lot. He said, Pro, I wish I could tell you this. I wish I could tell you that. And he said, I gotta get you an NDA. He was passionate at that time. But if you look at Ash now, he looked worn out. And a lot of people say, yeah, he worn out from the game, and he got to promote the game. He's the owner. The owner do not have to promote the game. You got people for that. Why you hiring people that's supposed to be marketing and promoting the game? You don't have to go through all that. Do you think that the CEO of EA markets his game himself? No, not at all. He hired all these people for marketing and promotion. They got more marketing people, more people promoting the game than they actually have developers, and that's crazy. It's crazy, but it shows in what the game that we got, the product that we got.
You're taking too much. The fight is over.
It shows. And to the people that always get mad, say, oh, y'all just complain, y'all complain and complain and complain. We're complaining, but we're not complaining. But we're just telling want, what we want in the game, what we expect in the game. And by us saying something, it shouldn't bother you. If it bothers you, you can just leave. You ain't gotta listen to me. You ain't gotta listen to me. And the thing is, when you speak, especially on these videos, and it grabs attention, and the more and more people that catch on, it holds developers like Steel City accountable. And at this point, I really don't care about Steel City. My thing is, there are other companies that can. There are other companies that can make boxing games, that want to make boxing games. They're still on the fence. I wrote out a blog to show these companies how to make a boxing game easy. Why it wouldn't cost them a lot of money to make a boxing game? It's called sponsors. You get sponsors from all these different companies. Let me see. Brasco said, we just want an actual boxing game. Exactly. All the technology we could have, the best. Exactly. See, you know what I'm saying? We have the technology. We literally do. If you look at my blog, I have a list of all the technologies they could use to make the boxes as realistic as possible. NBA 2K shows that there's technology to capture the athletes as authentic and realistic as possible. You got to use realistic with authenticity and stuff like that, because it's a word that you can frame. That's why they use that. That's why they don't use realistic sim anymore. Steel City don't use that. They don't want to be held accountable for. Oh, we didn't say we was making a realistic sim boxing game. We making an authentic boxing game. See, they got the boxing trunks. See, they got on boxing gloves. See, they in a boxing ring. That's authentic.
One,
You
two,
gotta be
three,
wise about how
four.
they
Listen
trying to
to me. Are
use
you
words
okay?
like we're children. A lot of sports gaming fans, and I say this a lot, sports gaming fans are adults. The majority, a huge majority, are adults. From 25, it might be a little lower, from 25 past 50. From 25 past 50. They might, the ones that's older might not game as much as the younger because they have things they have to do as an adult to support their family. Let me see. Still City Boxing. Happy holidays. Still City Boxing. We have a
That's
wrestling
time.
Now
game.
you're switching off.
We have UFC. Exactly. And check this out. What does the wrestling game have in the ring? What does the wrestling game has in the ring? What did UFC have in the ring? A referee. And then you hear people say, we don't need a referee in the ring. They say we don't need a referee in the ring. They're just gonna be in the way. Not at all. Do you see the referee in the ring in Fight Night Champion? Is he really in the way? Not at all. Do you really know what a referee means? Do you know what a referee actually is strategic for some boxers? They use the referee to help them in situations. You know, I read it before what a referee is good for. A lot of people don't know what a referee is. They don't know what a referee can be utilized for. Especially if you're tired.
Come on, you let him back in.
Why wouldn't we need Mills Lane as an unlocked ref? Brasco, this gonna make you mad. Steel City, they got over, I think, 15 referees that they license. They license 15 referees, but I think we only see 2 or 3 in the ring. So that right there shows a lot. That Steel City, like, I'm like, why are you spending all these monies to get these people and you're not utilizing them correctly? Let me see. Fighter mannerism when walking through the ring. Exactly. That is something that's technology that can be done. Fighter mannerisms. It shows that it shows the authentic feel for each boxer. How is it that WWE, and people make a billion excuses about that? Do y'all remember when 2K got the license from Ukes or in THQ? No, whoever it was, Ukes that was making the rest. Whoever had the license to make wrestling games. They struggled, I think, the first year or two, but they got it right. They did a job good enough that the fans weren't overly making a bad thing about it. But with Westcom still sitting, they can't make no excuses. There are veteran developers out there. There are veteran developers out there. If you hire veteran developers and use the modern technology, this game would not be in the spot it's in. And I know for a fact the reason why y'all keep taking things out, y'all gonna put it back in the next game. Undisputed 2. I wouldn't be shocked if y'all changed the name again. But y'all gonna put it in Undisputed 2. They got Deontay Wilder loading the mannerism,
You let him back into the
but
fight
they
that
didn't
round.
bother to
His
pull
round.
in the game,
Man box.
but they didn't bother to put it in the game, the actual game. Exactly. Cornerman talking about your fight after each round, but different wording each. Exactly. I did a blog about that. Y'all gotta read my blogs. I have a section just for the cornerman. It can be done with AI. They can make it so that the corner man does not repeat himself, repeat instructions, even though in real life the corner man repeats the same instructions because you're doing the same stupid thing in the ring. But with AI, the way technology is, I'm a tech head, and I do all my research on gaming, the gaming industry. All these things can be implemented in a game. You go back to each cornerman has his own thing that he does, and each cornerman might say something. That's realistic and authentic. That would make the game go to another step. Let me see. Have anyone in the chat played Fight Night Forever? Yeah, and announcers too. The AI can actually. I know people hate the word AI, but some things AI has to do. It literally has to do. Some of the things AI, is good for. Yes, famous people in the audience,
Switched off
and the
completely.
audience should be more involved in the fight. Because I remember in old EA and 2K games, I remember the audience got involved. Old games. Old games. I think they were on the PlayStation 2 or 3. But the audience was involved. You could actually create audience characters to be involved in the game. I don't know if exactly. See, you're around my age, Brasco. you remember that. It's only a matter of time. I don't see how they can survive into the next game. Steel City and the content creators can only lie and act like everything is okay. For no long, this game is on the brink of death. It is. I can't see this game going through January. Yeah, you see, you close to my age. I got you by 15, about to be 16 years. Yeah, it's these content creators. The content
Are
creators.
you all right?
Damn,
Are
my
you
voice
okay?
is hoarse for some crazy reason. But the content creators, I'm sounding like Jada Kiss for some reason. To me, yeah, these content creators, they can help shape this game. I knew this way back in the days. I used to boost these guys. Guys like Mac Mittens. I don't know, a lot of y'all was on the Fight Night forums, but guys like Mac Mittens. You have guys like PR
Better than
guys.
that. You
You getting soft on me?
To me, Matt Mittens was
Fight's
the
not over yet. You gotta
original
get out there and win this
creator
round,
of
kid.
the skits.
You had
He used to
everything in
do
the bag,
skits
and
for
now you're gonna
Nice round.
Fight
Good
Night
round. I like
champion
that,
for the
Matthew.
Fight Night
You were
series.
thinking.
It's a terrible round, that is. Come on.
And this
You
guy,
let
he
him
was
back
like
into the fight.
giving
Don't forget the
feedback.
jab, and don't
He
get
was
carried
breaking
away.
things
Think
down
about
and
the defense on the
everything.
He's not in your league.
These guys,
Come
they
on,
broken.
switch on.
It's like
Get your
EA
boxing back
broke
together.
them. They don't even want to talk about boxing games at all. I'm like, come on, man. Let's do a reunion, man. All of us that were on a part of that wish list and the outspoken people in the Fight Night forums. Let's do a get together. Let's do a show. Let people know that we have voices, that they can have voices too. Let the wishlist mafia come out of hiding, because it seems like that's what they're doing. I'm the only one that's like really speaking. And every once in a while, Papanosis pop in. The content creators should have some type of relationship with the games that are made, not because they know how to build a game.
4, 5,
Exactly.
6, 7,
See, the content creators,
9,
Chad,
10.
the content
You're
creators,
out.
they have a relationship with Ashton. They have a relationship with Steel City. Cause that's, to me, the content creators is how these companies make their money. That's free advertisement. That's free promotion. So they make it their job. Let me see. Steel City Boxing said, just imagine if iGang, Prioxis, Marvelous, King Juice, everybody came together and told the truth about the game. Steel City would never be able to continue scamming people. It's sad. Exactly. They really have to speak out. It's like these guys, they know they have voices. They know they have voices, but they're not really speaking out. They like getting the game for free, getting incentives and all that for from these companies, from Steel City. And Steel City around here begging for money for DLC. If you could throw things to these content creators, if you could travel around the world marketing this game to people, yeah, they did. If you could market, Steel City Boxing said they sold out. You can say that. I'm not gonna say that, but I just think they're silent about it. They're not saying anything. They have voices. They really do have voices. And the thing is, if they speak, to me, Claimer Uncut, he had a movement going. He had a huge movement going. People was following Claimer Uncut. They loved what Claimer Uncut was doing. The Claimer Uncut was silent. We didn't know what was going on. Claimer Uncut was making his game. He was working on his game. I knew he was working on his game. Me and Beast knew it. Beast said he was making a game, and I was like, nah, man. He said, because I asked him, when he showed that early version of the game. And we was like, that's Claim Uncut. And then I asked Claim, he said, no, that's not me. So I guess he didn't want people to bombard him with questions and, distract him. But, it's crazy. It's crazy that people are being silent. Even when you go into Discord and say stuff, people they get upset with you. They say, stop whining. Come on, man. If you don't like the game, don't be here. Man, shut up. Shut up, man. You shut up. These people be snoring.
What are you doing? I need you to focus on what you're doing. You don't
It's
want to lose
like,
this fight, do you? Come
I
on.
grew up in the bully culture.
You're better than me.
Good work. That's it. Now breathe. Just
Not that I was a bully. I was called the Bully Destroyer. I always beat up bullies. I used to fight 2 and 3 people. Got jumped a lot. But I'm beating the main person up. I grew up in that culture. So y'all gotta use your voice instead of letting Steel City bully you subliminally. Let me see. Cold Blooded admitted they signed NDA before the interview with Az. That's why they were all shilling and asking stupid questions. Steel City Boxing say facts, bro. Exactly. I was blocked on Discord. Wow. They 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 banned me. They pulled me back in. I left. Then went back. I went back so I can have content, see what they're talking about. Cause I was like, I want to go back to that Discord because there are people there shilling. There are people there that's acting like the game is okay. They're like, you gotta play it a certain way, man, to make it right. That's like you're telling a person that bought a brand new car and saying, yo, you gotta buy an engine for that car. I know the engine is missing, but you gotta buy an engine for that car to make it run the way it's supposed to run. Oh, but I still don't have doors. Oh yeah, buy them doors and you'll be good. So how about my windows? You buy them too, man, I'm telling you. Buy them and your your car will be great. That's how they doing. That's how people are doing. Especially when new DLC, everybody complaining now.
Great round. Now relax.
You know, some of the people like that's not like me and the ones, like y'all. But there are people that's complaining about the game, but they're not complaining about the right thing. They're complaining about not having more DLC. Like, more DLC? The boxers don't really fight like themselves. It's just little things they do, little things. Just enough for you to recognize it's that boxing. And the majority of the boxers in the game do not fight like themselves at all. Steel City said, they said the marquee fighters. And I'm like laughing because why would Emmanuel Augustus be a marquee fighter? But you know why they made sure Emmanuel Augustus' style was authentic? Because it's unique and it looked like MMA fighting. So they said, hey, we can attract the MMA fans with Emmanuel Augustus. And they did. And they did. Exactly. Kanisi, salute. Blaster, salute. Happy holidays. Enjoy your holiday. I hope y'all enjoying your holiday with your families. Family is very important. Very important. Even though I'm in the house alone by myself, family is important. So I'm pretty sure around my born day, which is January the 3rd, they will be there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about this now before I get off topic. Sunday I'm gonna have a special show. I'm trying to get, if y'all know anybody that makes created boxers or created wrestlers, try to get them on the show. Talk to them to get them on the show. If they're good at it. I don't want people that just make stuff, like make boxers and say they look like who they are. For one, I'm an artist. I went to art school. I went to art side, the same school that Michael B. Jordan went to. I went there. Not at the same time because I'm much older than Michael B. Jordan. But I'm trying to get people on the show so we could talk about things that should be added to a creation mode and how deep a creation mode should be, how important a creation mode is. Then later on, I'm gonna start breaking down each part of a game, like what's important about offline, and I might start breaking down each mode in an offline game that's very important to keeping a game going. And, and companies always say, you can't put everything in a boxing game because then what you got to put in the next game. That means you should be tweaking the game. You should be adding more boxes from the era that comes after that. Like next year, if you're making Undisputed 2, Moses should be in the game. Moses, the two Moses. You got what's that? Shakur cousin. He should be in the game. You got all these different boxers that's like that's not major that can be in the game later because they're rising stars. They don't block like that in boxing. That's for arms. Sure. That's for, I don't know what you're saying, but I know what you're saying. You saying that they don't block like that in real boxing. Yeah, boxers should. And this is an argument, and this is a deep argument about. And my thing is, me as a boxer, as a former boxer, I think no boxer should be forced to block a certain way. Unless that's how y'all set it up. Like if y'all playing a personal game or y'all playing online, that's what online should have a contract system. You should have a real contract-like system on the game to make it feel more authentic. You say, yo, we're gonna play 6-axis blocking. Y'all play 6-axis blocking. But technically, like it's a debate. It's a friendly debate. It's not like we're arguing like how just the up and down blocking. That's an argument. But each boxer has his own way of blocking. Uniquely. Because 6-axis blocking, that's kind of a little bit basic. Because there are more blocking places to block. Yeah, why is that crazy for me to say? But it's actually, I think, 12 to 15 places on your body that you can block. And I know y'all like, bro, you being over the top now, come on. 6 axis is good enough. I'm just being realistic. But they can be blocked. I did the research on it. On the controller, these areas can be blocked. But I'm good with just the 6-axis block. But we also gotta give boxers their real blocking styles, their real offense. Now when we play online or play certain games, all right. And the up and down blocking should not never be a problem. Because when in real life, when people do this and do that, you still can hit them. But you know what it is? A person do this, you don't want to go around it. You don't want to punch around his guard. You don't want to punch around his guard. I want to knock, your thing is, I want to knock him out from a straight punch to the face. I don't want to knock him out with a body shot. I don't want to knock him out from him getting exhausted. Then he drop his tank. I want a first round KO every round. To me, that gets boring. I want to earn my fight sometimes. I want to see that it's a struggle. Now I gotta use a different strategy. Or my corner gotta tell me, champ, you gotta do this and do that.
you're better than
because
that. You've done all your
he's
work
keep
all
hitting you
you
with
can.
the
You
same
need to go
thing
back out there
over and
and you need
over
to win
again.
this
I
match.
want that.
Get your mind back, get your focus back. Get
But a
that
lot of
right
people, they don't want that.
Jab snake.
And that's
Keep
crazy.
shots off and don't give him
That's
anything.
why the
Go
casual
back
fans
and
should
win the
not
round,
be
right?
One shot at
the
a time.
loudest
Set him
voices
up,
in the
then take him
community.
out. He's ready to go. He's absolutely.
Out there and switch on. Get this
They
boxing
do
back
not
together.
buy sports
And he's just
games
back
like
out there
that.
and he's to win
They
this
do not
fight. Get your
support
mind back, get your
sports
focus
games
back,
like
get
that.
that jab back. Just box.
They don't know half of these
Don't give him no
DLC
free shots.
fighters.
Keep smart.
Go back and win the
A
round.
lot of people
right?
just collect them. They don't know them. And then you hear them come back later complaining about them. Because you don't know who that boxer is. And the problem is that Steel City is not giving a boxer their tendencies, so they're not fun to play by casual fans and hardcore fans. Let me see. Blaster X said there should be specific variations of the high guard, Philly shell, and a boxing. Exactly. There should be variants of everything. If we being honest, the jab, everybody throws the jab the same. Look at Roy Jones fighting, and look at the way Ali fight. Look how Bernard Hopkins throw his jab,
2, 3,
and look how
4, 6,
somebody,
7,
different
8,
people throw their
9,
jab.
10. You're out.
Every boxer doesn't throw their jab the same. There's different variations or variants to the way you throw a jab. There's different ways you throw your uppercut. Oh, I know when I say uppercut, boy, that get people hot. Oh, Paul, why you had to bring up uppercut? Now listen about the uppercut. It comes out too long. It's rubber banding. I know. But you can't take away something that people do in realistic boxing, in a real boxing match. It's just that they implemented the uppercut in the game wrong. They rushed it. They took shortcuts. They took shortcuts with punches. You can see the rubber banding. It's like they're not making all the animations. It's like they rush. A lot of people can't see it with a trained eye. You can see the little things that they rushed in this game. Let me see. Brasco Jones said, make it so we're able to come off the block, then punch like Fight Night round 3. Yeah. But if we looking at if we looked at ESBC, it looked it perfect. Almost perfect. Because you can hit people with check hooks, the movement, the little different nuance that we had. I remember I saw Conor Ben get hit with a punch, and it was a delayed reaction from a certain punch. What happened to the meters that the momentum meters and all that they had? Not that we need to see them, but let us know they still exist. Now, if it's a casual fan that want to play casually, he should have everything on the screen that he wants. Like if he want the game to play like a bar, stamina bar fight, like you're fighting to make the stamina bar go down. But in a realistic boxing game, we shouldn't see a stamina bar at all. It should be you visually looking at the boxer, or you caught him with a good punch. And you know that you got to do certain things to keep him on guard or trying to defend certain punches. So you could throw a different punch. So he's defending against my jab. Now I could throw another, you got to make him think. That's when fence and stuff like that actually works, or fake outs. Make things actually work. A lot of people they hate for us to keep going back to the ESBC version of the game, but that was the game that we signed up for. That is the game that we wanted. And I'm starting to think that Steel City knows that, and when Undisputed 2 drops, they're going to do the same thing. It might be a little more cinematic. And it might not even be the game. It might be what you call a CGI trailer. And you know what? Some people gonna fall for it, and some people are not. But they gotta realize that people gonna hold back a lot because they're not gonna sell the same amount of games that they sold. They're not gonna sell a million copies the way they sold in the beginning, over a million copies, because people are very skeptical. People are mad at Steel City. So I'll be lucky. They'll be lucky if they sell. I say 200,000. That's me being generous. Like you say, these things sold people on ESPN. I think SCI still plays as. I think SCI still plays ESBC on the low and back at the street. I think so too. I really do. I really do. And you know what I think too when it comes with ESBC? With Steel City, one of their head developers that was actually working with them, which I was trying to get an interview, but that NDA, I don't know when their NDA runs out and stuff, because people be saying, Poe, EA was telling you all these different things, and you be telling us stuff like that. You could get in trouble. Your NDA, nah, my NDA didn't. It has nothing to do with what I say about EA, and it's been like 15 years ago. I was talking the same way I'm talking now, even after I signed the NDA with EA. And I did not get sued or no problems or anything. So y'all gotta stop being scared, man. Stop being scared. Y'all gotta move. Y'all gotta move like the Fight Night Forever team. Yo, they're moving like they have licenses to have these boxers. I'm not hating, but I'm hating. You know why I'm hating? Because they disrespected. They're moving like they got the rights to use those boxers in the game. They acting like they got the right to actually mod Fight Night Champion. When the game, you technically you can't mod the game at all without permission from EA. Then people act like this game is like, yo, it's the best ever. You know what they did? And y'all need to thank me. They moved the tendencies. Those are my ideas. That's what I gave to EA. And I got proof to all the people that like the nation. Bro, you don't know what you're talking about. You just saying that. You just trying to get. No, I don't care about being famous or any type of hype like that. I really don't care. But at least say, yo, the tendencies is posed. Salute to Poe for his tendencies. That's my idea. But they tweak the Fight Night Forever team. They tweak tendencies. So people keep saying the game feel good and stuff like that. Yeah, it feel good enough that the tendencies was tweaked, but the animations, they can't add animations like you could in a game like Fallout. Fallout, you can fully tweak that game on the 360. On the Xbox and the PC. You can fully tweak that game. With them, they're adding stuff. They added brand names on the ring that never existed. Even if they existed, you still stealing. You're adding brand names on the ring. They even have um, rappers, music in the game. We knew for about a decade that you can't use music because it's
That what you're
copyrighted.
doing? Come on, you're switching off.
Yeah,
Of
you could
course
use
to be
it on
smart and know you're not
TikTok and
back into
stuff
it
like
now.
that, but
It's
it's
a tough
small.
fight, and he's
It's
gonna
a
be confident.
small
Okay, I'm happy.
segment
I
of
like
the
that
music.
round. Good
They're
work.
using
Just
full
keep on every
blast
jab
songs.
and then start gathering your pace and win
And
this
I
round.
think when you do it like that,
That's it. Just start sticking a few body shots in there.
yo, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Let's do it.
Salute, Shaolin Phrase, and happy holidays. Enjoy your holiday. I'm good. Like you say, these things sold people on ESBC. I think. Oh yeah, I read that. Yeah, but people people gotta stop saying that this this Fight Night Forever game is the best. Nobody, nobody is safe. I don't care if it's a mod or whatever. If you didn't make it literally better, some people are just jazzing it up to be more than what it is, hoping that it makes EA make another game and makes Undisputed do better. Whatever you got now with Undisputed, that's what you're gonna keep with Undisputed. You're gonna have to wait till Undisputed 2 for things to change. To really change. And hope that you don't keep getting hot fixes. They're hoping that EA will make a game. And like I've been saying for the last couple of days, if EA doesn't, if EA didn't make a game when Undisputed sold over 1 million copies, which that's what
Hey, are you
it
all
took
right? Are
over
you
10
okay?
years for Fight Night Champion to sell. You see the difference? Fight Night Champion sold 1 million copies in
Come on,
12
switch
years.
up. Switch up.
Let's go.
Still City sold over 1 million copies in less than a week. And it wasn't because fans were starving for a boxing game, because there were other boxing games in that little divide between Fight Night Champion and Undisputed. There were other little games that didn't do good, because if fans were starving for a boxing game, more fans would have supported Love C Shorty game. If fans were starving for boxing games, there were so many boxing games, tactical boxing. They would have supported that game. There was a game called Project Boxing early on. Fans could have supported that game. This guy, he was talented to me. So it wasn't that. Let me see. Blastek said the legacy issues still stand out in Fight Night Champion. You can use them names. You can use those same tweaks on the original. It doesn't look like they changed the tuna set either. Still City Boxer said, I hope EA wakes up finally. There's clearly a huge market for a good boxing game. Exactly, it really is. It's no excuse for any company. It's no excuse for any company not to make a boxing game. Oh, what's up, Shaolin? Did I say I'm so all over the place? What's up, Charlotte Phrase? Yeah, I hope EA wakes up finally.
Time.
There's
Okay,
clearly
now
a
let him
huge
back into the
market
fight that
for
round.
a good boxing
That's
game.
his
Dad,
round.
boom.
Right, let's go out there.
I'm going to
Get your
scratch
boxing
it
back
in the
together.
mall.
Listen, be smart when you go out there. Just get
Maybe
to the
because I'm
Great
starting to
round,
do more
great
talking than
round.
I ever did. I'm not a
Be
really
efficient.
huge talker. Yeah, I'm not a huge at talking. I hope EA wakes up finally. There's clearly a huge market for a good boxing game. Still City Boxing said that. Kanisi said EA don't have anyone that is passionate about boxing to make a boxing game. That's not actually the thing because that's an excuse because they can hire people or they can bring boxers and coaches in there to help them make the boxing game like they do with Madden, like they do with FIFA. They bring in people that's athletes from FIFA. They bring people that are athletes from football. 2K does the same thing. 2K actually have developers, actual hands-on developers that are basketball players. They might not be major basketball players, but they played in the CBA and all these different lower tier basketball things. Like Dazar there. Dazar has been in the 2K's community for decades, and he's on the team. And his feedback is it makes major sense. Let me see. Shaolin Frey say true, but what if Truth Bound comes out before Undisputed 2? Will that
You're taking too
make
much. The
Undisputed
fight is
2
over.
irrelevant since Undisputed 1 was a complete flop? I can't see that we get a complete game from Truth Bound. I can't see it coming out like a full-fledged boxing game. We are putting too much expectation on Claimer Uncut, especially because a lot of people, if the game is basic, a lot of people gonna complain about that because they're gonna act like Claimer Uncut has over 200 people working with him, even though it's one person. Their expectations are just as high as if it's a full blown company, and that's crazy. Even though he put himself out there a little bit, you put yourself out there a little bit, claim uncut, because you say, "Hey, look what I done in what he said, 12 months. Look what I done." Now, Still City can't make the excuse. So people gonna be looking for it. They're gonna be saying, "Yo, you did that in a couple of months. We want what it looked like because we can't really say too much. He gave us something, but did we actually see different boxers like really, really fighting? Like you really see like a
We welcome
boxing
you to
match.
Cambrian
That's
Hall.
what I
When
want
you
to see.
think
When
class,
Clay cut
this
the
is
next
the
video he
place to
make,
be. And next,
I want to see a full 3 rounds.
This
so much
Full
hype.
3 rounds at least. That shows a lot. And I'm huge on that. And this is something that I used to do with EA. If you want to see how well the game is made, put it on PC versus PC or AI versus AI fight like themselves. And it's like, Dad, bro, that's smart. They say, yo, that's smart. It is because the boxer is if the boxer is made authentically, he's gonna play like himself. Just like I know when I talk about NBA 2K, it triggers people, but just don't let it trigger you. My thing is with 2K, you could tweak the game with the sliders, especially the tendency sliders. And the basketball players will play realistically. The the um the basketball player will play realistically to himself. It's times that I actually let the AI versus AI play for the whole season. I play like it's text him without being texted. I let the game play itself. It's like I'm watching a basketball game because of the sliders that I'm using. If you go to Operation Sports, I'm a huge fan. I was there from day one. Operation Sports, they got a community that does sliders. Why don't we have a community that does sliders? Oh, we don't have sliders. We don't have tendencies, really. We don't have these things. We should have sliders for tendencies. We should have sliders for traits. We should have sliders for capabilities. A lot of this stuff, this is what NBA 2K has. They set the precedence of what a game should be. That's why Fight Night fell. Fight Night fell because it was competing against another sports game.
Get focused and get your
Not
mind back on the
because
job.
it was competing against another boxing game. No, another sports
To
game.
win this round. Get your mind back.
Why is NBA 2K so innovative and Fight Night Champion? The only innovation they did was the story mode. And they added my sliders. Not all of them. They didn't have time to add all of them. But they added the sliders. They knew the sliders was the greatest idea. Let me see. 100, something to consider too. Most people who like Fight Night Champion aren't really boxing game fans. A lot of arcade players, exactly. And they the loudest people. These people, they try to attack people like me. They call themselves attacking me. I'm like, come on, man. You trying to attack me for one realism? Won't you just ask for an arcade mode? The default should be realistic. There should be a realistic boxing game realistically by default. I'm 100% sure that boxers would promote the game more. Boxers don't promote this game. That's why the DLC is not selling as great as Steel City wanted to. Steel City, you gotta listen and stop being idiots. The DLC is not selling because the boxers that you have as DLC do not fight like themselves. They don't fight like themselves. There's no incentive to buy the DLC.
What are you doing? You've switched off completely.
You
Get your
want
mind back on the
fans
job.
to buy the
You need just to focus
DLC.
on what you're doing. Don't want to lose this fight, do you?
Even the
Come on,
hardcore
right back
fans,
into this.
they don't want to buy the DLC because why should I buy the DLC when other boxers almost box alike? Let me see. People will complain no matter what. Yeah, I think if they would have gave the hardcore fans what they want, they wouldn't have really got no complaining. If we would have got ESBC, people would have been saying things, but they wouldn't have been as harsh as they are now. Because they they backdoored us, technically. They like, when you look at what the ESBC version is, and what we got now, it's like, yo, What are y'all doing? And then it seemed like the developers are barely working, like they don't do anything. It's been 6 years. 6 years since this company came into existence. Over 5 years in development. Y'all be giving Still City room by saying, oh, the game been out for about a year and some change. No, but it's been in development for 5 years. Stop trying to excuse that the game been in development for 5 years. Y'all gotta stop doing it. Blaster X said, high hopes for BKSB, who's bound pound for pound boxing. Exactly. I'm trying to push them to get sponsors. Like with Love C Shorty, he could more than likely get sponsored, or he could get investors. I know people like that. Still City, they got investors, and look what the game is. But someone like Love C Shorty, he could kind of take that risk with investors and stuff, and it'll help him get a team, an actual team, or get at least 2 or 3 more people to help him make the game. Let me see. Still City Boxing. He said still. I'm not gonna say the terms. Needs to be sued. This product is horrible. It is. It's basically unplayable in a sense because why do the league has to make so many rules? Why do you have to make so many rules? The game should be that you can turn certain things off. No, you only can throw this punch. You can't throw this many punches. In real boxing, you supposed to jab spin. I don't know why that's a big complaint. You know what people complain about? It's the casual fans. And you know what? The casual fans be complaining about stuff because they don't know boxing or they don't watch boxing matches. They even complain about when they do watch a boxing match. They say, hey, why that guy moving? Why he's not in front of him? Because that guy that he's fighting has a high knockout percentage. He would be an idiot to stand in front of him. Hey, he's running. Why is he running? Listen, you saying why is he running? You should be saying, why isn't my character cutting off the ring? Why is my character not pursuing him?
You switched off. What are you doing?
These are the things you have to ask yourself. A boxing fan will be saying the same things I'm
And
saying.
you're going to be confident now. You've got to take that.
Good work. That's it.
The
That's
hardcore
great,
boxing
great.
fans
Just get
will
your
have
breath back.
loved
And then
ESBC,
start gathering your pace. And
but the
win this
fight
round
night
back.
players
Take
would
away
have
Right.
complained. Eventually, the game would have changed anyway. I think. I don't know because I, fans start to like if enough people start liking stuff. Fans people tend to be followers, especially with gamers. They start to be followers and they start learning stuff. Like I was like when I talk about 2K, I know I brought it up again. I know I brought it up again. Maybe if I keep bringing up 2K, maybe they will make a boxing game. I'm doing like Candyman. Maybe they just think about making a boxing game. And I know y'all gonna say, hey, they made a boxing game. No, they didn't make a boxing game. They published a boxing game. They didn't make a boxing game. So maybe if 2K make a boxing game and they put the same effort they do in the NBA 2K and the WWE, we will have a contender, if not a champion. Yeah, I think 2K you like really should put their hat in the ring And I tagged them into my post that showed them that it's not as expensive as they make it out to be. And to the fans, I'm gonna bring this up too, every once in a while or probably every other day. To the fans that keep saying a game will not sell without realistic boxers, fans support Love C Shorty. They support Claiming Uncut. So y'all really think Claiming Uncut is going to be able to sign real boxers? Do y'all really? The mechanics sell the game. Because after everything's said and done, the mechanics
This
sell
bout is
a boxing game. The animations sell the boxing game. The modes sell the boxing game. The features sell the boxing game, not the names. Because I say about 90% of the fans that play Undisputed, they don't know all the boxers. No, I think I'm being too generous. I say 97% of the fans that play Undisputed do not know all the boxers. But Steel City is making it easy for them to complain because the boxers do not fight like themselves. 90% of these boxers. Because even in my EA days, when I was helping EA, some fans didn't know the boxers, but I was teaching them about the boxers. They started doing their research. Back then, I was giving EA an excuse, a ludicrous, somewhat of an excuse, but I was telling fans to learn about the boxers so they can help me push EA to make the game more authentic and realistic. And boy, oh boy, I had the whole forum on my side, even though I had like one or two stragglers that made it difficult. But I had the whole forum on my side. They said, hey, that's not a real boxing, that's not realistic. It was like people that you would say were super casual. They weren't boxing fans now. A boxing, this is my model. I know a company gonna steal it eventually. Ash said it before. Ash actually said my model. So that shows that he watches my content back in the days, or read my content. A realistic boxing game done correctly. I added the extra part on it. A realistic boxing game, if done right, will make a hardcore fan out of a casual. A boxing game can make a hardcore fan out of a casual. If done right.
Okay, now you're switching off.
Without passion and knowledge of boxing, making a boxing game will be tough to make. Exactly. That's why you bring other people in there.
Okay, I'm happy.
Like with Steel City, when they did the ESPC version, they had Sonny Edwards, they had Josh Tell,
Now just stick a few body shots in
they
there,
had
ready to go once we get
Ben
free work.
Davidson,
Get focused, get your mind
they
back
had
on the job,
Ryan
get back
Rhodes,
out there and win the round.
they had all these boxers
You
in
got
the
complacent.
studio
fight's
playing
not
the
over
game,
yet.
tweaking
You
the
gotta
game.
go out there and win this round.
Now they're saying
Now, don't want you
guys
going
like
over
Will
and looking
Kins,
for
I'm
that one.
100%
Get your
sure
mind
that
back
he's
on the
saying
job.
that. If I'm lying, Will, come on the show and we'll discuss it, because we got a lot of information. Got a lot of information, Will. Because they don't want to challenge my stuff, to come on my show and challenge my stuff. Ash can even show up. But they know how I am. They're not going to show up. Salute, Leafy, pound for pound boxing game. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff. Even if they started selling boxes as cards, unlike FC, they could still keep the core of the gameplay. There's ways to promote boxes through gameplay, to preserve the game. Zach, there's so many ideas that I can give Still City or a game company. I have a billion ideas. That's why I always log them. If you go to my blogs, you will fall in love with it. You will fall in love with my blog. Some of it is kind of technical, but you'll love my blogs. Like my wish list blog. They're very in-depth and deep. Because I was giving out some ideas because I was, check out this idea. I'm going to give this idea out, but y'all know it's my idea because I got it fully recorded. And I got it as, on my blog. My blog is like a trade. It's copyright. When you put something and it has a date and everything on it, that's copyrighted material. That's an easy way to get a copyright without actually going to a person that does copyright. All right, so I was trying to get the card company like Flair and what's the name of that other company? And they start making boxing cards again. But they stopped making boxing cards. But I was like, y'all should start making boxing cards